Algebra 1ers. We're quickly going to do lesson 85. I don't think this lesson is very difficult at all, and I'm hoping that you've already seen some of this so we don't have to spend a lot of time on it. We're going to do stem and leaf plots for the first part, and then histograms. So the first one, you see all those numbers over here, 95, 79, 69? Those are test scores made up of a class of 30 students. So what we normally call that as data, and we can do different things with our data or data, whatever you want to call it. So first we're going to talk about these things that hopefully, I'm assuming you had these in more basic math classes. I know in Saxon 5-4 they do these, so hopefully you have these before. The first one is called mean, and that's just basically the average of all the numbers. So if you're going to find the average of numbers, what you're going to do is it's the sum of the scores divided by the number of scores. Wow, room. So you would just take your calculator, add all these scores up. Let me switch colors so it's easier. Add all these scores up. If you added them all up, you would get 2,444, and you would divide by the total number of scores, so that would be 30. So the mean or average of all the scores would be 81.47. I often do that with your test scores to find the average of what you get. I just add them all up and I divide your test scores by 8 to get the classroom average. The next one's called a median. The median is the score exactly in the middle. So we're going to come back to the median. We can do the range. We'll come back to the range and the mode in just a minute. Now the mean you can do without reordering all these numbers, but in order to do the median, the mode, and the range, it's helpful if we reorder these from smallest to greatest. And one way we can help us to reorder is to do a stem and leaf plot. So what a stem and leaf plot is, a stem is your first numbers. If the first two numbers, like if we have numbers like 123, 127, if all the numbers start with 1, 2, then our stem would be 1, 2. Usually, with numbers just are 2 digits, there's going to be one number that's your stem, and your other numbers are going to be your leaf. So let's look at the first numbers. We have a 9, a 7, a 6, a 5, and 8. So it looks like for our stems, we have the first numbers, which would be 5, 6, 7, do we have a 9, 8, and a 9. So we put our first numbers down, and then we find out what we have for our leaves. So if you look, we have a 56. So we have a second number of a 6. We have a 58 with the second number of an 8. So I pass one up. And then we have, I think that's all we have. So for our leaves, we're going to have a 6 and an 8. So this just shows you by looking at a diagram, we have a 56 and a 58. Then we're going to go to our 6s. You can see this can take a little bit of time. So we're going to go to our 6s. We have a 9, a 2. You might want to just write them here as you find them. If you go through all the 6s, let's see, what else do we have? We have a 5. So it looks like we have a 9, 2, and 5, so I'm just going to put those in order. 2, 5, and 9 for our leaves. Then you just keep going through all the numbers. This is pretty easy. So we do our 7s with a 5, with a 5, with a 4. You're going to put, even if they repeat, you're still going to put them down. For our 7, I'll just help you out. We have a 0. We have a 4, a 4, a 5, and a 5. So what that's really saying is we have a 70, a 74, 74, 75, 75. And then we do the same thing with 8s. If you go through with an 8, with a 2, with a 0, we have a 7, we have a 9, a 1, 3, 6. So we're going to put those numbers down here in order. There's a lot of these. So we have a 0, a 1, a 1, 2, 3, 5. These problems are easy, but they take a little time. 6, 7, 7, 8, and that's it. And then finally we do the 9. The 9s. Oops, we had a 9 on that one too. And then for the 9s, we had a. If you look at all the 90s up here, we have a 90, 92. So we're taking just the second numbers of these, and so we're going to put all our 90s. So we have 90, 90, 91, 92, 94, 95, 95, 96, and 96. So this gives us a better picture. It puts them in order, and it gives us a picture so that we can just look at it and say, wow, there are a lot of 80s, just a couple 50s, a couple 60s, but most of them numbers were in the 80s here. That makes sense. Our average is an 81. So once we get our stem and leaf plot, that's a stem and leaf plot, then we can do these other things we were talking about, like the range. The range is the difference between the biggest one and the smallest one. So our range, our biggest one, would be a 90. You can look right down here at our stem and leaf plot. Our biggest one is a 96, minus the smallest one is a 56. See how the stem and leaf plot makes it easier to analyze your data? So that's going to be 40 is your range. The mode is the one that occurs most frequently. So let's look and see what occurs most frequently. So let's see if we can find it. We have, there's no 5s repeat, no 6s repeat. Here we have a 74, 74, 75, and 75. So let's just write that down. 74, we have 2 of those. We have 2 75s. See, we have 2 of anything else. We have an 81. They repeat. We have an 87. We don't have anything that's 3 times. And here we have a 95 and a 96 that repeat. These are actually all of our modes. This one has a lot of modes. Usually, you have one that repeats 3 times, but I don't see any of these that repeat 3 times. So these numbers are all the modes, the ones that occur most frequently. Typically, you just have one, but this particular group of numbers, we have all these numbers repeat twice, so they're all our mode. And finally, our median. What we do is we find the middle one. We find our middle number. So we would go, how I like to do it is I go 56, and then I do 96. I just work my fingers through. I touch this one, and then this one, and this one, and this one, and this one, and this one, until my fingers meet somewhere in the middle. These ones happen to meet between at 83 and 85. So let me just show you with a smaller set of data what that might look like. Say we're going to try to find the median of these numbers. So it would be the middle one. So we'd get this one and this one, and then this one and this one. And you can see the middle ones are these two. So if you're going to find the middle, you would add these two up, 81 plus 87 divided by 2. And that would give you the median of these numbers. Let's do another quick one so it'll make more sense. Say you have a set of numbers 2, 7, 9, 10, and 12. And you're supposed to find the median. So we start at either end, and we just cross them out until we get one right in the middle. 9 is right in the middle. If it's an odd number, then your median is just going to be the middle number. If there's an even number of data points, you have to take the 2 numbers that are in the middle and divide them by 2. In this particular one, we would find the middle numbers are 83 and 85. So we would need those. It's an even number. Remember we said we had 30 numbers, so it's an even number. So we have to add the 2 middle ones together. Sometimes it's helpful just to list the numbers out without the stem and leaf plot. Divided by 2, and so the median is 84. That's just strictly to do, does nothing to do with averages, it's just the number that ends up being in the middle. Quickly, let's do histograms. Histograms are just another way to plot data. And we can look over here at our stem and leaf plot to a histogram. Here's a histogram with, this is frequency of numbers. So there's two numbers in the 50s. There's two numbers in the 50s. We have 3 numbers in the 60s. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers in the 70s. Count these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 numbers in the 80s. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 numbers in the 90s. So we're just going to plot them on here. So here's our histogram. Between 50 and 60, we have 2 numbers. So you just make a little rectangle lining up with 2 here between 50 and 60. And then we have 3 between 60 and 70. So we do another little thing here between 60 and 70. There'd be 2 in here, and there's 3 in here. Next one is 5 between 70 and 80. So we'll just take this right up here to 5. It's easier on paper. Whoops. So we get 5. And then between 80 and 90, we have 11. So I'm going to take this full way up, almost to the top. Come back down. So there's 11. You don't have to write the numbers in because the graph over here lets you know how many there are. And then there's 8 90s. Here, between 90 and 100. So a histogram is just a good way to look at data. It gives you a picture of data. So that's about it for lesson 85. I don't think you're going to have any trouble with it, but give it a try and let me know how you do on it.